Look what happened, it appears, in the New York Times. The woman that ran that newspaper was fired yesterday. Why? It's now in the press because she complained she was doing the same work as men in 2 different jobs and made a lot less money than they did. That's why we needed that legislation. That's why my daughter should make as much money as a man who does the same work as she does. My grandchildren, what kind of an example are we setting here? When a woman who does the same work as a man doesn't get paid the same amount of money?
All right, I think from now on, whenever I play a Harry Reid bite, first of all, I'm going to say, wake up! And secondly, I'm going to apologize. His granddaughter, he brings up his granddaughter, his grandchildren, the one who he was funneling the money to? Anyway, that aside, we, as promised, welcome in our friend Gloria Allred. It's been a long time, of course, civil rights attorney. Hello, Gloria.
How are you today, Steve?
Good. Good to talk to you. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. Mm-hmm. All right. That was Harry Reid the day after Jill Abramson was fired by the New York Times. And we've had a lot of development since then. The claim by friends of hers and sources that she was fired after she complained that she wasn't making as much as her predecessor and not making as much as someone in a position below her, both men. And now we get Salzberger firing back and releasing a statement over the weekend that she was fired because, quote, she had lost the support of her masthead colleagues and could not win it back. And then a bunch of examples are cited. So where do you fall in this?
Well, Steve, we really don't know what the true facts are. So I think it's really dangerous to draw conclusions when we're not sure about the facts. I mean, the original story, as Harry Reid said, appeared to be, and this is without, clear sources for it, that she was fired because she was earning less than the previous editor at the New York Times. And that, of course, would be a sex discrimination issue. And it does resonate with a lot of people, particularly women, because they do feel that often they are paid less than men. And in reality, often they are for the same or similar type of job. Having said that, the New York Times reacted with a couple of different statements, which appeared to suggest at first that maybe her lawyer had complained about it and then she was terminated, which, if that were true, would possibly lead to her having some legal rights for retaliation, alleging retaliation that she was retaliated against because she protested a discriminatory pay practice. Then, of course, the spokesperson for the New York Times clarified or stated that that was not what she said, and that was withdrawn, and stating that essentially that those weren't the facts. Now, the New York Times has come out swinging with a non-discriminatory reason for her termination. Essentially, she didn't get along with the other people there. She then today, at her Wake Forest commencement, really didn't get into the weeds of what happened, but just went with it does hurt, and we need to be resilient, essentially saying that she was dumped, and moving on from there, not knowing what's going to happen next. So we don't know. I do think the issue is worth discussing. Nationwide, are women paid less than men? But we really don't know what happened in this case. The New York Times alleging that, in fact, her whole pay package was 10% more than what the men received.
You haven't had any contact with her?
Well, I never say who does or does not contact our office.
But you'd be interested if you would. All right,
but apparently she does have a lawyer, so I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, but if she called you, you'd pick up the phone?
Well, we try to respond to anyone who contacts us for legal advice.
All right,
whether
it's by
phone or email. Whether it's an editor from the New York Times or someone who is, just has a typical job that nobody's ever heard about.
All right, but let me ask you, Gloria, about this equal pay. What if she was making less than her predecessor, who had been in the company a lot longer? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, are we supposed to live in a country? I mean, men have jobs. If I follow someone into a job, in other words, if I had a radio show and I left and I went to a better job and I replaced a guy who had been there 25 years or 10 years in the same time slot, I take over his time slot, am I expected to make the same amount of money he was making when I enter? I mean, I don't get that.
Well, I mean, it really depends on, you know, the education of the person, the experience of the person, you know, the job that
right, so there are variables. You're admitting there are variables, right?
The point is, you know, employers can pay whatever they want to pay, but they can't discriminate on the basis of a protected category such as gender or race, religion, you know, physical handicap, national origin, sexual orientation in some places. So it really is fact-based, and we'd have to look at what the facts are in the situation to see, you know, is this a business decision, or is there a discriminatory motive?
Right, and we're kind of done talking about the New York Times because we don't know, and I, you know, to your credit, we don't know, and we have to wait and find out. But you know, this whole issue of equal work for equal pay, this notion that men and women have to make the same amount for the same jobs. Men don't make the same amount for the same jobs. I mean, there are some in this society who would like everybody to make the same and everybody to live the same and drive the same car and have, because that's fair. But I mean, when have we ever guaranteed? First of all, the White House was found when they were out touting their 70 cents on the dollar nonsense. It was found that they pay women like 13, 15, 17 cents less in the White House when you take that formula, that median average. And their own explanation was similar to yours and what I've been saying. There are mitigating circumstances, education, experience, time on the job, etc. So it shoots a hole right through that whole argument of women make whatever it is on the dollar to men, doesn't it?
Well, no, because it does depend on that. But, you know, there are cases in which women do have a similar experience or education or better and background, and they are still paid less. So, you know, we do have to investigate the facts in each case. We do a lot of sex discrimination cases as well as sexual harassment cases in employment. In fact, it's the main thing we do in our law firm and have for 38 years. So we know that the fact is there is quite a bit of pay gap, and that it is often due to a gender and to a discriminatory motive. And this has to change. The law prohibits that, and women need to stand up and enforce their rights. But again, we don't know if it exists in this situation.
Right.
One of the reasons that this bill in Congress has been introduced, and you know that many people are supporting it, is because they would like, a lot of women employees would like to be able to know what the men earn so they can know whether or not they're being discriminated against. But if what they earn is being hidden, it's hard to make a case for gender discrimination.
But Gloria, I don't know what my colleagues, the other talk show hosts on this network earn. Why should I? I mean, that's ridiculous.
Well, I don't know why it's ridiculous, because we know that there is, often discrimination, generally not against white males.
Really?
So
I think there's plenty of discrimination.
Those people who have not had a chance in the past and often have been discriminated against, should know the true facts. And why should an employer hide them, Steve, if they have nothing to hide?
Because it's none of anybody's business what I make. I don't want anybody knowing what I make unless I tell them, unless I work for the government, or unless I'm an athlete or something who chooses to make his contract negotiations public. What business is it of anybody to know what I make?
Well, because if...
What do you make, Gloria? Gloria, what do you make a year?
Really
Gloria, what do you make a year?
Make.
What do you make a year, Gloria?
Well, let me ask you
No. What you say it's people's business what I make. What do you make?
No, I'm just saying, look, in our law firm, we don't discriminate. Matter of fact, the majority...
I want proof.
Majority of the attorneys in my law firm are female. Although in the past sometimes it's also been male. But you're telling me in the talk radio business, it's clear there's a lot of discrimination in talk radio.
Really? Wait, what kind of discrimination?
And sometimes on account of race as well.
What kind of discrimination in talk radio?
Gender and race.
Really? How so? To explain.
Well, I mean, if you look at the majority of talk radio hosts in this country, they are white males, and there's no disputing those facts.
And that means there's discrimination?
Well, you think it's just a coincidence? You think the females don't have any talent for talk radio, or that African Americans or Latinas don't have any ability to be?
So you're telling me, so Cumulus is discriminating on purpose, and Premier and Clear Channel, all of those entities are discriminating, and that's why they don't have more females or blacks?
Well, I'm not going to name any particular radio, talk show network, but I am saying, you tell me.
Why aren't they more liberal?
Why is it dominated by white males?
All right, why aren't
they? Tell me. What do you think is the reason?
Well, I'll tell you. Well, why are there not more liberals? They've tried liberals and they've all failed, right?
No, that's not my question. Liberals are not a protected class under the law.
Well, you see, that's
women and minorities are. So don't. I mean, you tell me, Steve. What do you think the reason is?
Do you know the percentage of women and blacks who have applied for these jobs compared to the amount of white men who have applied?
No,
do you know the percentage?
You tell me what you think the reason is. You're just answering my question with a question.
No, but it's a very important question, because theoretically, if 0 women or minorities applied, then there'd be none. If 5 applied and 500 white men applied, there's a better chance the white men will get the job because of the numbers. So I'm asking you, what are the numbers? Well, how many black and female applicants are there compared to white males? Tell me.
Look, I can't tell you that.
I know you
can't. Because it's hidden. Because it's hidden. But I think that the actual reality is much more important. I know women, and I know minorities who have applied to be talk show hosts. They haven't been chosen. We know that often the vacancies are not even posted. They just reach out and they pick like another white male, and then they say, oh, there are no vacancies. So come on, you still haven't answered my question.
Well, because to me,
why do you think
I'll tell you, Gloria,
white males?
I'll tell you. It's just like with this fire department nonsense in New York. If I don't know how many blacks are applying to be and what percentage of the pool they are, I can't answer your question because it's moot without those numbers.
Well, I don't think it's moot. I think the point is, that is clearly discrimination, but it's going to have to be litigated. There are going to be people who are going to have to file lawsuits in order to get to.
Are you representing anybody who's going to do that?
Pardon me?
Are you representing any talk show host, female or black, or minority, who's going to do that? No? Okay. Hey, Gloria, always great to talk to you. Thanks for the spirited debate.
You too. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. All right, folks. Gloria Allred. See, you never know which direction an interview will take. We're coming back with the panel right here. Don't miss it, the Malzberg panel on the Steve Malzberg Show.